And because we don't push polygyny the way that we should, these women here, they don't think that they can get there because women are already there. Right. Sometimes it's not always about marriage. Those women need to be with the 20% because if you don't let them get there, guess who they're going to reward? It's just going to make the world worse.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If she's making excuses, she does not know her power.
Right.
That's the whole purpose of what he's saying. Once a woman no man will say, I'm broke, I have nothing. But LeBron James said, come see me whenever you want to get up. With him having that information,
right,
that man would no longer make excuses for being broke, not being able to provide, because now I have the information to say, well, I understand my value. Any woman that says, I come from a broken home, I come from this, I come from that, doesn't know her power.
Ultimately, she doesn't know.
Because the 80% play on women who don't know their power.
Absolutely. We support the idea if you put strong relationships or families back together, you can actually change what's happening in the earth today. You can change it. But this is how we have to be able to do this. One key thing, if the feminine energy understands the masculine energy and the masculine energy understands the feminine energy, you can grow. The problem is we're not understanding those two energies. And thus is why you see the families that's in the predicaments that we're in. We want y'all to understand how men view intimacy and how women view intimacy. Men view intimacy as a reward. It's a reward. Women view intimacy as trying to get on a deeper connection with the man. So when we understand how we are viewing this, women has to take more accountability for what is going on, right? So keep that into place. Men view intimacy as a reward. We don't view it how women view intimacy. Women view it as, oh, I'm in love, I'm trying to get this deeper connection. Men don't view it like that, especially the bottom side of this triangle right here. You know, women have been rewarding bad behavior, but wanting men to change. Why would we change? When you are rewarding the behavior that we're giving you. So thus, this 80% of the men, we're only trying to get a reward from the woman. We're not looking at the woman no more, no less. So what's been happening, y'all? Women have been rewarding bad behavior. Thus, men are not going to change. Why would they change? Y'all ever heard this statement before? Why would I marry her? She's already giving me everything anyway. Why would he change when his behavior is being rewarded? But now let's talk about the top 20% of men. The top 20% of men, they understand for them to get to the next level, they need women. They don't view women the way that the 80% view women. They don't treat women the way that the 80% treat women. They understand the feminine energy. The 80% doesn't. And you have more women rewarding who?
80%.
They're rewarding the 80%. This is why I'm saying this. What I'm saying is only 20% of the men in the world, what women really want to marry. They just can't get to them. So they settle for the 80%. They should not be getting rewarded.
Right.
They should not even have a woman. Only 20% of the men in the world should have women and should be breathing. Not the 80%, because if women keep rewarding them, I'm going to give you an example. Me and Ezra, we're athletes. We get to the gym early. We leave the gym late. The person that barely comes to the gym is getting the same reward that we're getting. Think about that. Most of the times when you come in first place, Barry, you get the trophy. Now the person that comes in fifth place gets the same trophy. You see what I'm saying? So now you have the 20% of men looking and saying, well, why are we working so hard when the fifth place man is getting the same trophy that the first place winner is getting? So the problem is, y'all, is women. Women don't know that they are actually in more control than they've been given. Women have been manipulated to think that they're not in control. Ultimately, y'all, the woman is ultimately in control of everything. But when the woman doesn't understand that, not only that, women won't work together. That is the biggest problem. Because guess what? Let me ask y'all this question. Why does the women, Z, reward the 80% of men? What are they thinking? They're thinking, right? That's what they're thinking. They're thinking if someone else don't reward him, if I don't reward him, he's going to go somewhere else. That's because women won't work together. If women would actually work together, the man has no way to go. You see what I'm saying? But because women don't understand that y'all's strongest strength is what? If women were actually unified, it will make the world better. It's amazing, man. It will actually make the world better if that man would have not been rewarded. He doesn't deserve that reward. What happens is you have women that are more willing to reward the 80%, and we being in the 20%, we catch more hell with women, and they won't reward us the way the women will reward the 80%. That's a problem.
Right.
The 20% of men, now that we understand this, we're now looking for women that are wise and women that are logical.
Right.
Because in the 20%, Angela, which we consider to be high valued men, they can control their sexual desires.
Right.
The 20% of men, intimacy is not a priority for us. It's just not. If we had to leave tomorrow to go someplace for a whole month or two, that's going to better our family, we're going to go.
Right.
Because intimacy not priority for 20%. So they look for women that are wise and that are logical.
Right.
You know, so the thing now is women have to become wise, because we all know the proverbs say every wise woman, you know, because ultimately it's their decision. But we have manipulated women. If you don't do this, it's going to be this. It's going to be that. It's always a bad consequence behind if you don't do this.
Right.
And now the woman is thinking, well, I ain't going to have no man. And the problem is you're talking about the 80% of man that you ain't going to have. You should want the 20% anyway. And because we don't push polygyny the way that we should, these women here, they don't think that they can get there because women are already there. Right. Sometimes it's not always about marriage. Those women need to be with the 20%, because if you don't let them get there, guess who they're going to reward? 80%. It's just going to make the world worse. Right. Women, y'all going to keep making this and always be talking, let's talk about these relationships. Y'all the problem. Ultimately, y'all are the problem. Girl, let me tell you what he's doing. You got an 80%. You have the majority of how men are. You know, are not in the elite. But what happens is, because women won't work together, they're going to get their 20% and they're going to leave all those other women. Girl. Nope. So if you don't push this, what happens is, let me tell you something about men, especially men. Men only understand pain and pleasure. That's what we understand, especially men. I'm also doing another study on this also. We understand pain and pleasure. So therefore, if you give us pleasure with our behavior, we continue. If you give us pain, there's a possibility that we will change. Now, don't get me wrong. You have certain red zone cases that those men almost just need to die and come back and try it all over again. I support the idea of reincarnation. They need to try it again. Red zone case, you can't fix them. You see what I'm saying? You just can't fix them. So therefore, when women actually begin to stick together, women can actually change the course of nature. Y'all.
If she's making excuses, she does not know her power.
Right.
That's the whole purpose of what he's saying. Once a woman no man will say, I'm broke, I have nothing. But LeBron James said, come see me whenever you want to get up. With him having that information,
right,
that man would no longer make excuses for being broke, not being able to provide, because now I have the information to say, well, I understand my value. Any woman that says, I come from a broken home, I come from this, I come from that, doesn't know her power.
Ultimately, she doesn't know.
Because the 80% play on women who don't know their power.
Absolutely.